When the world around you is chaotic, make sure you have a structured routine, because then you'll be running around like a headless chicken and nobody wants to see that. Lately, everything feels like it's moving at 100 miles per hour and it's so hard to keep up with everything. And I don't think we understand how much of the external world really plays a part in our internal world. We've got social media really hitting us hard, the news, other people's expectations. It's a lot to take on every single day. So it's very important for you to have a structured routine that really anchors you back to yourself so that you don't fall to pieces, because that's how burnout happens, and that's how you feel like you don't have control of everything and you're just juggling a ton of things and everything just falls on the ground because you've got no structure. Life can be so uncertain and unpredictable at times, and we all lead very hectic schedules. So we need to have tools in our toolbox to help us when life gets crazy so that we feel centered and connected to ourselves. And this has taken me a long time to figure out. I had a routine at one point that was non-existent. Just wake up, get on with the day. And that really didn't do anything for me because I didn't have time for myself to really check in with how I was really feeling and to anchor my emotions. I used to be the type of person who couldn't regulate their emotions at all. I was kind of just like a burst of feeling, which is probably why I'm an actor. But I had to learn how to anchor my emotions and learn to be more present. And the only way to do that is to have a structured routine. I definitely went through a teething period of trying to figure out what works for me in terms of a routine, because my schedule is so unpredictable. It just changes like the wind. And from having no routine to creating this insane routine that I thought, yeah, I'm going to stick to this. It felt like a 10-hour morning routine. It just was not sustainable. And I have this type of personality where I go from one extreme to the other. There's nowhere in between. So I'm trying to learn to add in some happy mediums into my personal life. And I've noticed that's been more beneficial for myself so that I stick to a structured routine. And it's very important for you to find what works for you and your schedule. Everyone's schedule is different. You might have more time than others or less time than others. But you have to make sure that it is not affecting your career, your relationships, or anything like that. But I cannot stress the importance of structure in your life and having 1 hour, at least 1 hour to yourself, to really connect with your body, your mind, your spirit, so that you can get on with your day. This is what chaotic energy feels like first thing in the morning. You grab your phone and you're just doom scrolling through. We've all been there. I've been there as well. You can't help yourself because your brain wants that stimulation first thing in the morning. But I noticed when I was doing that, it actually made me 100 times more anxious because I'm just scrolling through. The first thing that pops up is the news, something negative, and then AI, something that freaks you out. And then you start your day off on a bad note. So I actually started removing any screens the first hour of my day because I realized how much of an impact it actually made on me. And it was really affecting my morning because I used to be a very anxious person. I used to wake up with full-blown anxiety, and it's not a nice way to start your day. It's like definitely the wrong way to start your day. And I noticed just the simple act of removing my phone for at least the first hour of my day made a world of a difference. And I decided to remove the noise and just focus on myself. So the first thing that I typically do in the morning is Wim Hof breath work. You can do any kind of breath work, but I found that doing 4 rounds, 40 breaths, really helped me just get into this really elevated mood. And I can't even explain the feeling. You just feel euphoric after doing the 4 rounds. I started with 3 rounds, but then it didn't hit as hard as the 4 rounds for me. And you just feel like you're breathing life again. So I typically do that, and that's kind of my priming before I go into my meditation. If you are not meditating for at least 20 minutes every day, what are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously, you can't tell your mind to sit for 20 minutes every morning. It's only a short amount of time out of your whole entire day just to focus on yourself and your body and to figure out what it is that you actually need to have a wonderful day. But you can have all the time in the world to scroll, work, get all anxious and worked up because of what's going on in your mind. We know that meditation is good for us. We know that it helps clear your mind. And it seems like the hardest task, but really you're just sitting there in silence without any mental stimulation. Because the reason why we're on our phones all the time is that we're craving a dopamine hit. And we feel like we're not going to get that by sitting there and doing nothing. But you're not sitting there and doing nothing. That 20 minutes is the only time you have to slow down and reflect and set the intention for the day so that you can go ahead and have the most amazing day. So I highly recommend you start off small with meditation. And I've said this in other videos and on my podcast as well. You just start off with 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You can carve out 10 minutes out of your day. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening. I would start off first thing in the morning and do a visualization meditation, because then you're actually sitting there and doing something and you're visualizing a desired outcome and you generate that wonderful feeling. And then you go about your day feeling euphoric because you've visualized a desired outcome and you've got that feeling within you. That's typically how I like to start my day. I'll start with breath work, then I'll go into a meditation, and then I'll have a nutritious breakfast, typically savory, glucose goddess, if you know, you know. And then I'll walk Hazel for about an hour because she needs her long walks, and I do too, getting our steps in. And that's not only good to just clear your mind, but also I like to take a look around the environment that's around me and really take the time to simmer in gratitude. And that's when I list out the things that I'm grateful for in the moment, but truly feel it. And those little anchors are just amazing to have throughout the day. So I just won't leave the gratitude for the morning. I'll bring it with me throughout the day. So if there's something that catches my eye where I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm so grateful for that. Or if I have a thought that comes up, I really take the time to show my gratitude for whatever it is that's entered my life. And I don't think we show enough gratitude for the things that we have already because we're so focused on the future. And I get wrapped up in that as well. I am very much forward thinking and I worry about the things I don't have and what's to come and what is not showing up in my reality. But the whole thing about manifestation, and I'll get into this in another video, is you have to be grateful for the things that you have, and you have to feel as though you have whatever it is that you desire. So you have to become that version, that person who already has everything God, this is a struggle. You have to embody the person who already has everything that they desire. Because if you don't show up as that person, then the universe is going to think, okay, well, they don't believe in themselves enough to have all of their desires come to them. We're just gonna hold it back and we're not gonna give it to them because they don't feel worthy. Having these small habits just makes the chaos around you more manageable. And having rituals that really help you connect with yourself and really ground yourself so that you regulate your emotions, you regulate your nervous system, and you're not spiraling out of control if something does go wrong. You have the tools to be able to handle everything that comes your way. That's just priceless. And it makes your life so much easier. You'll go through your day with ease knowing that everything is going to be okay. Another bonus ritual that I like to do is every night before I go to bed, I always say tomorrow's going to be an amazing day. And when I wake up in the morning, I like to reaffirm, oh, today's going to be an amazing day. Something amazing is going to happen. And I really say it with enthusiasm. And usually something does, either big or small, something does happen. So it's good to face the day knowing that something good is going to happen, something positive, rather than spiraling and thinking, oh God, I have to do this, I have to get that done. Oh my God, my boss hates me. Oh my goodness, I didn't book that role. Or oh my God, I have to do a self-day. I mean, not that I do that, but of course I do. Listen, now I'm not saying that my morning routine is going to work for everyone. It's not. Everyone is unique and everyone has their own preferences. I don't typically like to journal in the morning. I prefer to do that later in the evening. You might not want to journal. You might not want to meditate. You might want to do walking meditations, or you might not want to do breath work. You just have to find 3 or 4 habits that you enjoy doing or that makes you feel at peace, and just stick to those rituals and make it a point to do it every single day and stay consistent, because then you'll see a huge difference in your demeanor, how you show up, the attitude that you have, the shift in perspective. It just really changes everything about you. It's definitely changed how I show up in the world. That's why I'm making this video, because I cannot stress the importance of having structure when the world is so chaotic, because that's one thing that you won't be able to change, the world around you. So when everything around you feels uncertain, build rhythm, build structure, and build calm. And I promise you, a lot will change in your life.